Alright folks, as we get started, if y'all would, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out. Hit that bell button so you get notified when we have new content. And also, there are a few links below. One of them is an Amazon affiliate link. Just some of the cool stuff that we have in the shack and in the Padawan shack. Doesn't cost you anything extra, just gives us a little piece of that action. Also, there is a merchandise link to our Shopify store. Want some Goodgame Ham Radio merch? That's your spot right there. Appreciate it if y'all could hit that. That helps out the Padawans as well. And as well as a Patreon link below. Go ahead and hit that bad boy. Help us out. We appreciate it. So let's get this thing going. Okay. And this is it. This is, like I said, the MFJ-4603. They have a whole line of these, and I'll post a link to those in the description below. One thing to note, the box that it comes in, it's a pretty good sized box because it's a long piece of wood, designed to trim down to whatever size your window is. Important thing to note, this is in the bottom, well, I guess maybe the top, depending which end you open, of the box, and it's easy to miss if you're not careful. So make sure you check both ends of it and pull this out. This is just the weather stripping that you're going to need to keep, Mother Nature from creeping in your window there when you put that in. When we look at it, basically it's kind of what you expect. It's two metal plates, one on each side. With this one has 4 UHF connectors, a Type N connector, or SO239s. It's got a standard, I forget the name for that one, for TV, coax, stuff like that. You've got a balanced line input, random wire input, got some, put power through there, and then you can also, this right here, if you loosen it, let me see if I can, this actually slides back and opens a little hole that you can cinch it back up, so you can put like if you've got an antenna rotor, rotator, something like that, you can put a control cable through there, stuff like that. Okay, one more thing to note, I took all of them off, but it comes with little rubber caps for your connectors here, so that you can, seal them off from the weather and stuff like that. So, looking at it, I just kind of, before I get too into the install, I'm going to check and make sure that none of the connectors are shorted to the ground or anything like that. Everything's got continuity where it's supposed to. So basically, I'm just going to check, make sure this, okay, so we work. Okay, so I want to check all my center pins. Make sure they're good. And when I touch the shield, obviously they're all there. See if I can get down in there. And no way I'm getting in that. Okay. That's the ground. It should be making noise. And that's that. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to check real quick and make sure that I actually have continuity through each of these. I don't see why I wouldn't, but since we're reviewing it, I want to check all the construction of it, make sure it's all where it should. So all the center pins have continuity through there, just to make sure nothing is shorted this way. I don't see how it would, but like I said, we'll check. And then we're going to check and make sure, which I don't see how this would not be, but for the sake of consistency, because these are all just one bolt going through. So everything looks like it's got continuity where it should and doesn't where it shouldn't. When you look at it, it's just flush mounted on here. It's not actually equal on the board when you look at it, centered, I should say. It allows a little more space up here, and their manual says that is because they wanted to allow for different depths of window sills, because there's really no up. If you look at it, it's printed both sides, so you can install it that way or that way, whichever way floats your boat. This is going to be a great addition to the shack because this is going to take care of a lot of cable management issues that I have coming through the window and whatnot. So this is going to clean that up a good bit, which will keep the other half quite happy. So let's get this out there and installed. I'm going to go ahead and put, the rubber caps back on. It only comes with 4 sets because I assume that they're thinking obviously you're going to install at least a coax somewhere. So whatever one that one is, just take it off and put it on the Type N, because I'm not going to use the Type N connector there. So, all right, so let's get this thing out and get it cut. Good idea might be to paint that first if you're gonna paint that. I'm not sure what kind of board that is. Maybe, who knows. But paint it up and whatnot so that it matches your house and is weather protected and stuff like that. So let's get the next step done. All right, and here it is installed. Now I've not painted this yet because I'm going to repaint the house here in the next month or so, depending on weather. But as you can see, it's in here. Got the weather strip around it. When I get inside, I'll push it down a little bit more and secure it. Now it's just time to hook some feed line to it. Okay, and here it is installed on the inside. Now you can see I've got a couple feed lines coming through. I still have 2 more SO239 connectors available, and this gives me the option to play with some other things that I may want to mess with. I'm not all the way done with the install. I'm installing a new ground bus and everything, and I'll obviously ground it out there. The other side of that goes down to the ground rod in the ground. But as far as the way it installs and looks, it installs really easy. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you want to make sure you cut this board so that it is tight in that window from side to side, because you're not going to want any little leeway so it can kind of shutter back and forth. You're not going to want to leave any gaps in the edge. So the weather stripping, I just took the weather stripping and I just stuck it to the board right along the top, and there was plenty of weather stripping. I just wrapped it all the way around the board and seated it in there. Like I said, I'm going to repaint the house here shortly, so that's when I'll paint the board. You'll see I had to, when I initially set this in here, it was actually set in here the other way, but when I came inside, it was too far down here, and these connectors were resting on the metal of the window here. So I had to take it out and flip it over. So that's the reason that MFJ has that thing not centered, so that, if you have a deep window there, you can accommodate it. And if you have a shallow one, you can do it the other way. So final thoughts on this thing. I think this thing sells for $109. We'll, like I said, attach that link down below. It's one of those things I've wanted for, gosh, as long as I can remember seeing it in QST magazine, but I just never got it. And hindsight being what it is, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you're going to install antennas outside, which, hello, McFly, obviously you're probably going to, this is a worthwhile investment. This makes it so much easier. You just run your coax, put an end on it on the outside, screw it on, and then you just, make you a bunch, or if you want, you can buy you a bunch of shorter jumper cables to go from here to your rig. You can actually take all of these and feed it into an antenna switch, and then, have the antenna switch so you can select which antenna you want for your radio at that time. So definitely a worthwhile investment. I would definitely tell you now, this is something you want to look at. It's a great option also if you're renting. You're not putting holes in anybody's walls. A lot of times landlords don't really want you drilling in their walls, and this is an option for you. So that's it. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the air. 7-3.